And welcome once again to the AB Championship. We're off to Mexico today. I've been drinking. This is the AB Championship, and I'm going to be taking you through the race today. So, quickly before we get in, we're ready for the rest of the drivers. We had a bit of problem before with Japan. Japan is up on the TV to watch the PS5 settings update. Messed that all up for me. Group as well. On Saturday, we had the first of special couple of exhibition races of AB Championship versus Weekend Warriors Race League. Few little incidents and things may have happened through there. We'll touch back up on that properly on next Saturday at 8 PM UK time when the second of those races gets broadcasted. But the one thing that I will say about that race, and I will leave it at that for now, is I'm just going to take a quick minute to remind us of the rules that are written down in the AV Championship Discord rules, which says respect other drivers, be aware of their position and condition. We're racing against real people, not AI. So if you go for a move, leave space for the other car. Don't expect them to back down. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. We'll touch back on it properly on Saturday. And we have the other one of those races. So Japan, which obviously didn't get streamed properly on the YouTube channel, it was up on my own personal Twitch and I had to transfer it over. So last week's race at Japan ended up being a little bit wet, and the results for that came in was a bit of a tie battle, I think, between the end there, between Reaper and James, both starting on different compounds. Reaper came through with the win in the end, James in second and Kuhn in third place for Japan. We're coming in today. I've been told that today Tess is unable to race in the Ferrari. They're being filled in by Elykr, I'm going to pronounce that. And Tygo is being filled in by WouterVanDenBoom, who has previously been filling in for YorkshireRock with the Racing Points. He's now filling in again in a Racing Point, but for Tygo. And I've also just been informed that Kuhn is going to be unable to race today. We've got hbecht, who has taken up a permanent position in the Ferrari now. David has departed the Ferrari. hbecht, previous reserve, has come in, and with Kuhn unable to race today, I've just seen that the OG Noah is going to be filling in for him today here around Mexico. So we've got, I think that should be, there's 20 out of 20 competitors in the lobby. That should be everyone. Then we do have a full grid for today. Bulls, wind, yep. So we're heading now to Mexico, the Autodrome Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, Mexico. 50% race for us as always. Qualifying on strict. That's going to be about 36 laps around this 2.6 mile or 4.3 kilometer track, comprising of 17 corners and 3 DRS zones. Few notable things about Mexico City track. These 17 corners we've got around the track have pretty much been divided up into 4 individual kind of sets, obviously separated out then by 4 very prominent straight sections between them because of this kind of design of the Mexico track with those sets of corners. The initial line you take into it becomes massively important because it sets you up for the rest of the corners that you're going through there and that's going to set you up for your initial exit speed and speed along the straight section afterwards. Massively important to find those apexes here around Mexico, and I've just seen it's looking very, very wet here for qualifying. I'm waiting for my message right now for the race weather, so we know what that's going to be like. But that is exceptionally wet right now in qualifying. Let's get up our telemetry quickly. I don't think anyone was really expecting that in Mexico. I wasn't expecting it to be like this. It's not one of the tracks I would really put up there for having a very high chance of rain, yet everyone on the full wet tyres. No one there is on inters, as we have Wouter coming out of the garage here first. Qualies in the rain, race is going to be in the sun. This could be interesting then if the race is going to be sun. There's no rain for the race. All the drivers right now are going to be using their dry setups in the wet. So this could be a very interesting qualifying session, to be honest, because you're going to have very reasonably low downforce on this circuit with those long straight sections, just kind of enough to hold them in the corners and be able to hit those apexes like I was talking about a minute ago. But it's going to make them probably a little bit shaky coming out here during qualifying. So obviously front wing adjustments can be made, but Park Fermi is on. Who can we trust to get a nice lap around here in the wet with our dry setups? I think we might stick with Wouter. He wants the first out. He's taking a lot of curb right now through these laps, as we'll get a nice onboard run around Mexico as we come through turn 17 now. Want to get down the power as soon as possible there. That's going to dictate your speed along this section. 1200 meters of flat out section here along here. FCS to the house pulling over. Thank you. Very important to find your braking point in time here. Want to get that apex. That was nice. Hit the other one. And once again, and now we can get back on the gas. Don't run along too right there, it'll take too much curb. And start once again powering it through to the next set of corners here, 4, 5 and 6. Again, important to brake in time, a little bit of engine braking going on there as well. Finding these apexes, this is nice. Again, very easy to run wide there as well. So longer, slower corner on to the next little straight section here as we come to 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. A series of chicanes here which starts off kind of like a medium speed and gradually gets faster as we go through. Very important to get as wide as possible there for 10, because that's going to maximise your speed coming out there on 11. See Wouter trying to get the power down there as quick as possible, and the car getting a little bit shaky on the back end. As we said, he's going to be using his dry setup around here. You can see he's struggling with it a little bit in the wet. This is our next set of corners up here, 13, 14, 15 as we come in to 16 and come into 17 again, getting the power down there nice and early before coming onto the straight section. That's a 130.7 in the wet there for Wouter. He's visually on pole. We'll see what the rest can do. Xz in the planogram for number 131. He's a second or so behind. Who else is down here about to come out? A lot of drivers here. Let's get some on board with YorkshireRock. YorkshireRock fans normally in the party watching, so as you didn't have a Japan race, we'll get you some on board with Yorkshire and Lordy today. Seem to see the driver, see Yorkshire as well coming out the chicane. They see getting a little bit wobbly on the back. We're going to see this a lot from the drivers here in qualifying. James out right now, potentially with on pole there with a 129. There's our YorkshireRock followers. Here we go, the Rock from Heavy Salad. That's a 131.0 there for YorkshireRock. He'll be looking to improve that. A lot of the drivers here getting below that into the 130s. Couple there with 129s. Reaper there, 131.0 as well. Good luck, Alpha Tori, says Coon. He's sad that he can't be here. We're sorry you can't be here, Coon. We hope everything is well and okay for you. Let's come down and CST not on a fast up anymore, pulling over. Obviously had a spin there. Let's have a look on board with Noah. He's running really wide in the chicane. It's not invalidated his lap though. Obviously slowed down enough there, but that's not going to be a very good time for him. How is Knack doing? Our speedy little qualifier around here. It's already on one lap old wets, so I assume he's invalidated his other lap, struggling with the car. It looks there. He still puts in a 129.5 though. He's been way saw him struggle on that other corner. If been struggling like that with the way around, he'll definitely be capable of a quicker time. Drivers obviously going to be on the in laps now. No, already coming back in there. We've got Follow gets him on board with WaR-Skorpa right now as he's about to come around for his fast up qualifying here in the wet of Mexico. Long, very long straight section. Let's find our braking point, get the apex. That's good, maybe a little bit wide on the exit. That's not too bad. They're trying to get the power down there. Keeps it in control, doesn't run the curbing on the outside there. Let's find our braking point again now for fall running. A little bit deep there, almost getting the brakes on a little bit too hard there. A bit too much apex, that's going to invalidate it. Very difficult, those corners there of 4 and 5 as you come through. If you're a little bit off the apex there on 4, it's very hard to get the exit right on 5 and then be in line for 6 correctly. Let's get down to Elykr, also with this WaR moniker before his name, doing exactly the same as WaR-Skorpa. They're nearly not invalidating his lap though, struggling with this car now to keep it in line, keep it in check. See them fighting the oversteer, letting off there so much through the chicane here, so as to not try and void track limits. That was very close again. I'm quite surprised how this lap is still valid, but we've still got one. It's nicely on the apex there though. Let's bring it through more smoothly through the end here. See the back there trying to slip out. He's trying to get the power down, fighting that car all the way round back to the line. What sort of time? That's got 138. Not going to be happy with that around here. See what Joe's there, 138 to 135s with WouterVanDenBoom right now. They're messed up on that one, just driving straight across the tarmac back to the track. He's going to be coming back in for some fresh boots, I think, there. Times down here, top 10 all set in 130s. Next 10 drivers seem to very much be struggling around here in the wet. James Allen still provisionally sitting on pole there with a 129.1. As we're going to follow in with the other Ferrari, with Jasper, and see how this Ferrari's getting on around Mexico. again, there's that turn 4 and 5. That's a very difficult line to get through there, and it appears probably where I think maybe a lot of these drivers are struggling to. Again, the chicane as well, it can be difficult, especially in the wet. You want to try and take as much curb as you possibly can through the chicane to keep your line as straight as possible, and then it's all about getting out as wide as possible for 10. You can see a lot of them having that little bit of flick of like oversteer. We see Wouter there, exactly what we said, getting that oversteer there in the wet, using the dry setup straight into the barriers. See a lot of drivers constantly trying to use the dry line around here in the wet tyres, and it's not really going to work. We need to get into that wet. Sometimes those grooves on those wet tyres are designed to catch the water spray, to spray it off the track as well, and while those tyres are running in the water, it's going to help to keep them cooler as well, which is going to give you more traction then when you come back onto the dry line to take the corner. So it's very important to make sure those tyres aren't even hitting right now on your qualifying laps, because you're going to have problems trying to find those apexes when you come onto the dry patch if those tyres are too hot and not getting the grip down. We're following Tenta in the Red Bull right now. He's about to come on to his hot lap, and we'll see what he can do around here. 890 meter run there from that grid line. He just crossed up to the first corner to find our break point and get in nicely to the apex there on turn 1. We find the apex again for 2, and we're fully on it for 3 there. No outside curb, that's nice. Straight down 2-4 again on that straight section there, come out of 3 while being in these wet tyres here right now. You've got all that nice wet track next to you when you're on. Get straight over as soon as possible for that corner. Don't run on the dry track there. Cool those tyres back down before the corner. Again here, get back over, get on the wet line before you come to the corner, then come back to the dry for the apexes. Nice through 10 and 11 there. This looks like a very good lap from Tenta as we see Luca in the wall right now. That looks like purple on sector 2 there for me on my mini map. A little bit of wiggle there coming out of 12. Let's come up to the final corners. Fighting the car again, trying to get the power down too quickly there, out of 17 to 130.055, 1,000th off his current time of a 130.054. That was a beautiful lap there, Tenta. Tenta and Demesos, both Red Bulls there currently in 4th and 5th. Red Bull looking strong in the wet here around Mexico. Wonder what they'll be like in the dry. Chronic there on a fast lap, but it's invalidated. Chronic running that very well, and apparently looking comfortable here in the wet. We'll see if he's going to take another lap round on these tyres actually, to see if he can get up and improve that time. Currently letting other drivers go past, not much time left. He has just got about enough time if he wants to nip in to the pit lane and get some clean boots on. Just so many other drivers trying to re-enter the track very carefully. Thank you for that, Chronic. Going for clean boots, or is he? I think he was getting into the wet to cool his tyres down so he could come down for a nice another fast lap around here. Lollopuppa there jumping up into 4th right now with a 129 as well. Tenta now up there flying with a 129.2. Let's see what Chronic is. Alfa Romeo looking very strong at the start of the season. They've slipped back a bit now in the standings. Still running in the top 5 though of the AV League, as there's a lot of traffic out on track now. Everyone knows lap time's taking a little bit longer. If anyone's in the garage, they need to be coming out now. Probably about the last chance now to go get some clean tyres on before the race. Obviously everyone's going to have tyre choice at the start of the race now, with it being wet and having a dry race. So interesting to see what tyre then everyone chooses to put on at the start. If we see maybe some of these guys maybe slightly forward, slightly further towards the front there, maybe running the medium tyre at the start so they can be at the front there, take a longer stint. Kronik definitely looking comfortable around here in the wet. I can improve his time. Currently in 7th and 8th with his teammate Wouter. We're running us at 129.5, 1,000th of his time as well, exactly as we just saw Tenta running such a similar time. So we got right now, let's go down here. WaR-Skorpa's on a fast lap. Let's see what he can do. That's luckily not track limits. There we go, getting into the wet, cooling those tyres down, making sure they're at the right temperature for the corner, looking comfortable through there. A little bit slowing down a bit more there to get the apex. VFL F1 League close at the top there. It is close at the top there between Knack and James. Knack and James and Reaper, very fast drivers. I think Reaper is definitely on the control pad right now. Sometimes uses the wheel, and if he's on the wheel, he'll be up there with Knack and James on the control pad right now. I should imagine. Who else is out there? Although, let's get, as we mentioned Reaper, let's get back over to him right now. Xz retiring, nothing else he can do with his time. Kronik retiring as well. Reaper finding the apex, using all the track here through 5 and 6. Getting nice and wide before his entry to the chicane section there, using all the curb. Getting wide again for 10. That was smooth through 10. Nice through 11. That's going to give him good speed down here. That's a purple in sector 2 for Reaper there. Slows it down in time for 12. Reaper here pretty much finding all his apexes perfectly, getting as much curb as he can, planting both the wheels nicely either side there. Smoothly on the power, a little bit of a wiggle there, as we said, smoothly. That suddenly moves him up into 3 with a 128.7. A little bit off the other drivers, but that's our only 3 able to put down 128s today. Matt, James and Reaper, just as I said. And as you said, it would be close at the top. And I mentioned about Reaper being able to get up there regularly on the wheel. I think he's just done it on the controller as well. Who else is Reaper still on a fast lap right now? I think Reaper is actually going around for another fast one right now. He might as well. He's crossed the line just in time. Who else is down here though? Root of an invalid one there. FCST coming through 16 and 17. Can he currently in 10th? Can he improve his position and make his way further up? Currently with 130. He gets a 129.5. He moves up into 9th instead. It's still an extra position. Better than a slap in the face. I think Reaper now is our only driver as Wouter's car's broken. I think that's under AI. Just got to check a flag to say it's finished. Has Reaper able to beat his time again? Invalidated at the end there. That's upsetting. What was he running? I think that would have been put Reaper on pole. That looked like a 127 there. He invalidated at the end. Perfect wheel placement there between the curbing on the entry there to 16, 17, and I think it invalidated him, but that was looking like a 127 was the last thing I saw on my screen. It is being streamed in 60 frames a second. We'll have a look at that after and see if we can see what that time actually is. So Knack and James on the front row, Reaper and Jasper on the second row, Tenta and Dom on the third row, Loller in 7th, Chronic in 8th, FCST 9th, Wouter 10th, Bestos 11th, Yorkshire 12th, Lang 13th, Luca 14th, Rowan 15th, WouterLord 16th, Xz 17th, WaR-Skorpa 18th, Elkia 19th, Noah 20th. Steady session from the rocks. Soggy conditions, forever the equalizer. Let's see what he can do in the race today. You guys are always here watching and supporting. I hope he can deliver for you. As I continue to drink as we wait for the drivers to line up on the grid now. Qualifying was wet. We do have a nice dry race though. As we said, I should imagine a lot of them running their dry setups. Hopefully remember to change their wings. Front wing is still changeable. Tire pressure is still changeable from what they're running if they had adjusted it. Shit, it's taken a while to bring me to the grid, so yep, I'm guessing a lot of them have adjusted that. DS Matrix, let's go Yorkshire. Don't forget, you got LordyLord there as well. You appeared to be supporting him for the last couple of races when Yorkshire was unable to make it. Please tell me you haven't forgotten about him. As we line up for the grid, there is all 5 lights on, and they're out, and we're off. 890 meters now down to turn 1. Knack still in first, and Mestos moving up the grid there. Reaper as well. James not getting a great start and dropping back a little bit there. Everyone heading towards turn 1. I hope everyone finds their breaking point. There's a Renault and a McLaren smashing off at the back there. Knack cleanly coming through these first corners. A bit of grass being taken there on curve 2. Try and flick back. I don't think there was too many other casualties. We're on the next long straight section now. And I think apart from maybe that Renault and that McLaren we saw, I think everyone's made it pretty safely through these first corners. Rowan picking up a penalty there, ignoring yellow flags. Let's learn the rules of the race, yeah? Follow Knack already 1.7 seconds ahead of Reaper. Reaper's moved up. The yellow flags in sector 2 now. We're going to get on board and come down through the packet. FCST putting the pressure on Lolla, getting this power down on the inside there of 17. Let's get our spectator telemetry and information up now so we can find out what is actually going on. And let's have a look at what tyres everyone's opted to start on as well right now. As we thought, the couple at the front there, Reaper and James both going for the medium tyre. Knack on the softs. Reaper and James are going to get the soft at the end of the race there. Knack's going to be on the medium tyre. Knack's going to want to make that soft last as long as he can right now around here. Everyone still quite close together there. There is WaR-Skorpa and Rowan. That was the Renault and the McLaren. Had an issue at the start there. Yellow flags kind of a lot there in sector 2. People I think running wide through the chicane. Let's have a look at our position changes there. Bestos and YorkshireRock both getting to move up 3 or so positions here. Bestos, as we mentioned him there, picking up some penalties coming through here. Everyone's still close together there. Chronic putting on the pressure to YorkshireRock there. Being followed closely by Xz in the McLaren. We're going to get up hbecht here, trying to get the pressure onto Lolla. We're on lap 3 now. should start having our DRS being enabled. Kronik has made it past YorkshireRock there. We missed that a second ago. Xz behind, picking up a 3-second penalty, running a bit wide there as we look at Tenta and Wouter wanting to put the pressure on Tenta here through the chicane. Gonna get the DRS on the exit here. Can he make it past Tenta before turn 12? Very close driving there, wheel to wheel from these two through 12. Wouter backs off, Tenta pulls through from the outside. Wouter's gonna get the DRS chance here again on Tenta. Yorkshire apparently has slight wing damage there. One of the viewers are saying there's Wouter going past Tenta comfortably into turn 1. Finding that apex now, catching up to Xz in 10th. Alkir there coming into the pit there, the Ferrari in 15th, moving into the pit again, already on lap 4. Should imagine he's taken some damage as we look. Nax managed to pull out a 4.6 second lead on these other two right now. Reaper there with James falling very close behind. Domestos pretty close behind James there. He's got FCST right behind him. Going to be having a bit of a DRS train going right on now, between down from 2nd down to 6th place. Domestos, James trying as hard as he can there to get Domestos to get out of that DRS range. I think he might have just about done it then as well. Come down to Domestos. Is he going to get the DRS when we come up to the line here? I don't think he is. I think James got out of the way in time. That's unfortunate. Domestos moving out of the FCST, trying to stay in the slip. Domestos defending the inside. FCST trying to launch it in around the outside. Domestos still pulls it through. Inside becomes the outside, and so on. And Domestos champions that 3 corners there of 1, 2, and 3. That was beautiful driving there, guys. James now running very close to Reaper here, coming into the chicanes here. James staying so close in the line of Reaper there, trying to get the slip, trying to get the toe so he can stay with him. He's gonna also stay with him until we come up to this DRS zone on the big straight here, and then we should see him. He'll make his move on Reaper. Reaper's got the power down very well there through 17. Nice, but a bit of a gap there. James is gonna have the DRS though. Reaper using that ERS, making it difficult for James. James having to use the DRS. ERS only just catching back up to him. Reaper protecting the inside. James slipping in behind again. He's going to just try and stay as close to him as possibly can as he through these corners, so he can try and make that DRS work there. Reaper, you see every time protecting that inside. James just having to slip in behind on the corners, unable to outbrake him. He's got the pull on him now though through 6. A little bit hesitant there, changing up through the gears, are going in side by side through turn 7 there. James, I don't know if the wheels touch very slightly there. Reaper bids back off. James went through. Great driving right now. We are seeing today on here. These drives at the top is still that little battling there between James and Reaper. Slow them down. It's allowed Domestos to get back into DRS range on right now. FCST and Lola also, like we said, those 5 drivers there from 2nd to 6th have a little DRS train going on. That's going to make it very difficult for Knack when he chooses to pit. He's trying to work out work out as much space as he can across them right now, and when he pits in, he's gonna have a lot of traffic to potentially deal with. He's on the soft tyre, although the others are on the soft as well, so it's not going to be too bad. They're going to be pitting roughly the same time as Nack. It definitely looks like this medium tyre could work out very much in James and Reaper's advantage here. Such close driving at the front here. Let's get down here. Yorkshire looking to make some moves on Xz right now. A couple of drivers here already on the hard tyre. Elykr and Lang both obviously pitted there earlier. Elykr shifts on both halves. He's obviously pitted on the first lap there, I should imagine. Or started on the hard, maybe Lang's 3 lap over hards. He's definitely just pitted, maybe taken damage from someone. Maybe looking to go to the end on those hards. I don't know if that's... I think that might be a push for both those sets of hards there to go to the end. Even Lang's 3 lap old hards there. That's gonna be, what's that, lap 8? 3 off that was lap 6. Let's go back another, yeah. It's going to be around 30 laps in total on those hard tyres. I should imagine it's possible, but they're going to not be in great condition by the end of it here. I'm just going to have to pit again around here and have to do that tyre change early. Probably would have, I don't know, maybe put the medium on for a bit more grip. No, they're going to have to pit the hards. Isn't going to last at the end, and then switch back to the soft at the end as well. Hoping maybe some other people have had to do like a soft medium strategy or something as well from taking damage. I don't know how well that hard tyre is going to serve them late in the race around here. As we're saying, really important to find your apexes. And as we mentioned that, we see Yorkshire almost coming off it slightly. Xz running very wide there. That's a good chance for Yorkshire to try and catch up to him a bit. Domestos now. Domestos been able to stay with Reaper here right now, and James putting that gap behind him to FCST. FCST is not going to be getting that toe in that DRS anymore along this long straight section. Domestos is still going to get that DRS though, so he can stay with these front guys. It's great drive from Domestos right now. Holding his own up here with Reaper and James. He is on the soft tyre though, so could do with trying to get up in front of Reaper and in front of James if he could, to make the best advantage out of his tyre and work the best in his favour when it comes to the pit stop. Obviously going to have him to be pit earlier, the same as Nack. Just notice we've massively closed down the gap on Nack right now. Obviously, a minute ago, a couple of laps ago, we was at about 4.5, nearly trying to push for 5 seconds, and guys in the front there, James massively having closed it down to 1.3 seconds now. So impressed with this quality of driving from James. Kind of joined us halfway through the season, wasn't in the Renault there to begin with, and then we saw in Hungary that council race, threw it on pole. We saw him on Italy again, put it on pole, and I think, did he do it on Japan? He might have done it on Japan as well, I can't remember, but I'm now just closing down this gap on Nack. This is great sound of driving we're seeing from some of these top drivers in the league now. Some of these corners have been brilliant to watch today. Bit of a gap starting to form between a lot of the drivers now, but FCST running very wide through there, trying to get the power down as much as he can to be in range with the DRS on. Lolla absolutely burning through that ERS there. It's very easy to burn through that ERS on Mexico with these long straight sections, and because of how the corners are in those kind of 4 kind of sets we've got here, it's very difficult to refill that ERS because you've only really got one hard braking zone before each of those kind of sets of corners. Between that, it's just very kind of small dabs on the brakes to slow you down through it, which you're not really going to be able to harvest too much of it. So it's just imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers struggling with that ERS. You don't want to be letting it run out. It's naturally powering the car anyway, the whole time, so you end up with that ERS being very low. It's going to impact your entire race, your entire like race distance, speed. FCST deciding 9 laps is enough on those soft tyres. He cannot get the grip down there anymore. Others still running on 10. Where's Tenta here? Did he make it in DRS range there? Or Wouter? Or not? He was in range for it. It's going to be a bit far back now though. Doesn't have that much ERS. Is still going to push with it though. This long straight, it makes these drivers just want to use it to catch up. Where's Wouter doing it? Wouter there, doing very well on his ERS. Not even worried about Tenta catching up to him. He knows Tenta would have been burning that ERS to catch up to him. He's got plenty there to defend with. Domestos now starting to slip back from Reaper and James. That gap massively starting to close in on Knack. These soft tyres aren't going to be doing him any favours right now. I'd say now is probably the best time to pit Knack. Again, the same for you as well, Domestos. Don't want to be running these soft tyres way too much longer. Yep, he's in the pit as well. Is Domestos going to go there? Domestos going to run another lap on them. Knack, I don't know if that's going to work in Domestos' favour right now. Knack's already pitted, and I think when Knack comes out, he is going to be able to run a faster lap, and I think that Domestos probably should have gone in when Knack did as well then. I don't think it's going to work out. Or what happened to Reaper there? I missed that. How is he dropped back to there? So we watched Knack go in and we dropped down to Domestos. I missed what happened to Reaper there. I'd be very interested to know. As we come up, Tenta's there, putting the pressure right on to Wouter right now. He's got the DRS on him, Wouter, plenty of ERS there to defend with from them as they're going to come up into turn 4 there. Tenta staying in behind. Very close, he's following Wouter's line there and come through 6 up to the bendy chicanes. Tenta there looking a lot faster through, running wide though. That's going to be a warning there for him again. I should imagine that was all tyres off track. Trying as hard with that DRS. Wouter though with a lot more ERS. I think Tenta following so close behind right now. Once the DRS, Wouter decides to go in. He's not going to let Tenta pass him on that. Tenta still going to get the DRS though. Look, Reaper and then made it back further forward there. Lola's gone in the pits there. Still unsure what happened with Reaper there, why he dropped back or not. We saw Knack and James going. We saw Domestos pull into the pit. I don't know if anyone touched him or not, if it was maybe anything to do with himself. He maybe tried to get the power down too quickly through 17 and had a bit of a spin coming onto the straight. I'm not sure. But he would have been very close behind James, so it's the only thing I can kind of think of what was happening there, because the driver behind went in the pit and James obviously, we saw James following Knack, so I don't think anyone touched him. Well, look, there's now Knack now on fresh tyres. He's put hards on now on lap 14 to go to the end. That's a better position for those hards, I think. That's about 22 laps there till the end of the race now. Hards should still be in a reasonably favourable condition there towards the end of the race. They will be lacking off on a little bit of pace. But as we said, because the other couple of drivers earlier on, I think it was Luca and Lang, they put the hards on early on. I think they're going to have to change them out towards the end, or they're going to lose a lot of time on those tyres as we come to Lola now. Oh, that was a nice shot of Lola's wing. I don't think I've ever seen that shot on camera before, actually, of the wing camera there. That was awesome. I enjoyed that. Give me that camera shot back. I can't get it again. It's not going to give it to me. I've never seen that camera shot, and that was nice. Give me that wing cam again. Where's my wing cam? Right, why am I... I appear to have lost all interval times right now, so I don't know where anyone is in relation with anyone else on the grid. There's an Alpha Romeo coming up on something somewhere. Which Alpha is it? Nope, it's that one. It's a ghosted car, doesn't matter. Get LordyLord right now. Where is... That's not right. So, I mean, LordyLord's interval to best us right now. Don't know what is going on with the interval. I appear to be having a slight bit of lag with their times. Tenta trying to lose the toe here from FCST. He's got the DRS. Tenta moving a bit much there after the car was a bit close, I think. It's fine to weave and lose that toe from the other cars, but once they start to get within a couple of car lengths of you, you need to pick your lane. You need to decide where you're going to drive to and not there. We did see FCST, he did either brake, I think he braked slightly and let off to make sure he didn't go back in the back of Tenta there because he was going for the pass, and Tenta changed lines right at the end there. FCST not going to be happy about that. He's got the DRS again. Can he get it up the inside? Tenta now coming into 12. Tenta going very wide. FCST on the inside there. Outside becomes the inside for Tenta, and then vice versa for FCST. He pulls it round there now. Tenta, I think, who's going to have Tenta is going to have the DRS here though. FCST pulling over to the side, so trying to lose the slip right now from Tenta. FCST dedicating to the inside. Outside, inside. FCST remains it. He comes out through turns 1, 2 and 3, gets in front of Tenta finally. That was a pretty good battle there between those two. Tenta's late movements on that straight, though, were maybe slightly questionable. There's Kronik battling with Luca right now. I think they're getting their wheels a little bit locked there. And we'll follow on with Kronik right now. Down, trunk it up past Luca, and I just realized right now we'll see Reaper and Domestos have both only just pitted on lap 17. Reaper's put a set of softs on right now. Domestos has put a set of hards on. James is still currently on his starting mediums, 16 lap old mediums. I'm not sure entirely what James's tactic is right here on that medium tyre as we watch Kronik finally get past Luca in the DRS zone. Pulls in front, Luca in behind as we come through turn 1 nicely on the apexes, holding the racing line there from Kronik. Lollopuppa now, Domestos on the hard tyre, Lollopuppa on the medium tyre there. Looking to get past Domestos. It doesn't seem like it. There is a reasonable amount of tyre wear put onto the cars around here through Mexico with these sets of corners and the way they are and the way they're applying so much pressure on the exit. The tyres do take a good bit of damage on the exits of these corner sets. We're trying to get the power down, and it does matter, especially out of turn 17 there. When those tyres start to fail, you're not getting the power down on there, and it does affect your exit speed, as James has come in to pit now, and he's come back out on the hard tyre. He's come back out just in between Knack and Reaper right now. Knack's got 5 lap old hards. James is on brand new fresh ones there, so he's going to want to put the pressure on to Knack, but he needs to be aware his tyres aren't going to be up to heat right now, so he needs to just kind of stay with him, get them up to heat over this lap, and then really start putting the pressure on. The tyre launch isn't really going to come into play until a lot later on, where he might be able to then feel that he's getting a bit more grip to the corners of Knack's. 5 laps between them isn't much really. Reaper's on the soft step behind him. Reaper's going to be wanting, he's ideally going to need to get in front of him, because he's not going to be able to take those softs to the end. Reaper needs to be able to catch back up, get into James's DRS, get past James and Knack. He's going to be hoping James and Knack start fighting. It's going to slow them down. That will allow Reaper to get past, make some space up on his softs, and then probably pit once again at the end, because he started on mediums. He's going to want to go double softs here towards the end of the race. So he needs to get past them, get a lead made up, put another fresh set of softs on, pit in, so he comes out just right behind them again to then get back in front and take the win and make those soft tyres work. Interesting strategy between these drivers. Domestos here starting to fall back now, 6 seconds off Reaper. He's got that hard tyre though. Lola's got Lolla behind him on 5 lap old mediums, so right now Lolla being on that medium tyre, he's got a slight bit of advantage off Domestos. Domestos just needs to kind of hold him out for another kind of like 8 or so laps until that kind of like a little bit less than like looking 6, 7, 8 kind of laps, and when that tyre advantage will start trying to equal out between these two drivers, and then Lola's mediums will start to drop off towards the end, and Domestos will be able to hopefully hold on to his position with those halves coming later in the race. But he's unable to keep up with Reaper right now. The time between Reaper's dropping all the time. Reaper really making those softs work. Now he's got that DRS on right on James, and he's got it now. He's going to go around on these laps. There's James going up past Knack. Reaper's about to come in there as well. All 3 following it through turn 1 on there now. They're going to have a little DRS train going. Let's follow back in with Reaper, the one behind. We can see what he does. We can see what the cars in front are doing. James locking up a lot there through for Reaper. As we said, Reaper needs to get in front of these 2 drivers so he can make the strategy on the softs work. Having a look before turn 7 there. Unable to make it past Nice, going to stay with them. There's the DRS timeline as we come back through 11 now. He's got the DRS. He's not pushing with the ERS. I think he's going to wait again, just sit in, tucking real tight behind. James seems to be goes for it on the inside of Knack there. On something, Knack runs slightly wide. Reaper going very wide, trying to give him space back on the inside. And he tapped his wing there on that as well. I hope, where is the thingy? Is there any damage on it? It still looks okay. I think it was light enough. It didn't damage his wing. I think he realised he was trying to be very fair on this racing line and keep him very wide to the outside. Diving into the gap, knowing that he dived into the gap, obviously maybe slightly cutting off Knack. He's then coming back round very much wider on the outside to obviously give Knack space again to try and be as fair as possible with the move that he took there. And he does manage to get in front of Knack. That is apparently the fastest first sector right now. I don't know if he's going to get a fast lap round here. He needs to then get in front of James now as well. It said get up in front of James. Lolla has just passed Domestos right now. Domestos can stay back with him. So those tyres, this is great battles going on up here between these top 5 drivers here right now. 2 Mercedes cars running up here in the top 5 right now. Really good chance for Mercedes to maybe try and close that gap off a little bit on the AlphaTauri boys. Reaper come through 6 tenths behind. I don't know if it needs to be a little bit closer than that. I think it's a very long straight, 890 meters from that grid line. Gonna be around 800 meters from the DRS line there into that turn 1. Gonna need to be a little bit closer than that 6 tenths coming into there. You probably need to be more around that 4 tenth mark coming out of turn 17 to really make that DRS work for you, so you can get in front of that other car. He said now he's close it down. It's 3 tenths behind now, following so close to James around here. Knack so close behind Reaper as well. Knack on that slightly older hard tyre, James on the fresher. Reaper on the soft. He needs to get in front of James. I'm sorry you had to miss it as well, going this is a great race for watching, though. You've been able to pick a great spectator seat of a great race to actually watch. I think this is probably one of the most exciting races we've had all season with you, to be honest. This is a great lead for the front here. I'm not sure what's going to happen at the end when we come to the tyres. There's Reaper, like we said. Now he's 4 tenths in behind James when we come round to the straight here. Now he's going to have the DRS. Now he should be able to tuck in behind, trying to find that toe. James taking the inside. Reaper gets past him on the outside with the DRS. Takes it in first into turn 1. Now he needs to work as hard as he can. He's got the soft tyre. It's probably taking him a little bit longer than he wanted to get past on the soft tyres. But 7 laps in on these soft tyres right now, and he's used a lot of ERS there and making sure he could get past James. He now needs to get out as much space as he can, potentially over the next 3 laps, because he's essentially only got about 3 laps on these tyres right now until he's going to swap them back out into another soft set. So he needs to be able to get as much space as he possibly can upon James and Knack, so he can mitigate that pit stop time and be able to attack again in the very last few laps when their hearts are getting old, so he can get back up into first. I'm excited for the end part of this race. It's gonna be tense. Reaper now, he's making it already from getting in front of James at the start of Sector 3. He's pulled out a second already there in Sector 3 on James, near enough. James there, pushing as hard as he can on the ERS, getting the DRS on Reaper, but once again, I think a little bit too far behind, like Reaper was the first time we saw him attack, to actually be able to make a move on him there. He's not able to do that. Knack, though, still there. Knack on the slightly older tyre than all of them, still just hanging there, staying in that DRS zone, waiting for these two at the front there to probably start fighting it out. And James, is he gonna? Reaper protecting the inside again. James can't get to him there. He's so close behind. And Reaper, not, like you said, those tyres on that 8 laps of soft now, they're still runnable, but he's not got that same sort of grip and power out the corners, that same traction out the corners to really be able to start putting that space between them. And those 3 DRS zones around this track, it's James is finding it kind of easy here to be able to stay in with them. He hasn't got much DRS. Both of them very low on ERS right now to be able to attack with. Knack as well, who we normally see being very comfortable with ERS levels, is pretty low now as well, trying to keep up also with these guys. Tyres locking up a little bit there on James, a little bit wobbly there from James there coming through 17. Again, Reaper manages to have enough space there between him and James on the exit of 17 to mean that James can't really attack him with the DRS, burning all his ERS out there. We see it running on 0, braking as late as he can, and that's going to cost him. There's Reaper's chance almost there now to try and get away. He's still got the DRS though. Reaper not going to be happy about this because he's going to have to pit soon, and this is going to mean that's potentially going to be his chance to win again. It's looking 18 or so, 20 seconds or so lost in the pit lane here at Mexico, and that's a lot of time he's going to need to make back up in the last 10 laps of the race here. Lola now, after we saw him get past Domestos earlier, he started to be able to get a gap out there on Domestos. 2.2 seconds behind him now, where Domestos on 9-lap-old hards, Lola on 11-lap-old mediums. Lola's got up to about lap 30 or so, I reckon, on those mediums, in which then he's going to start to feel the wear on them. He's not going to have the space. Reaper, there we are, as we said, lap 26 or so, going to be coming in to the pit. He's pulling that now to make sure James doesn't get in front of him before he pits, mitigate any lost time there. But now where's he going to come out now that Domestos has gone in front? FCST behind has pulled in the pit. He's going to have to, who's that in the Renault there, coming past us, the lap driver. That's going to be hard now. He's got 10 laps left, and he's got a lot of time to make up there. Very brave, bold strategy there from Reaper, with starting on the medium tyre, going to that double stop on the softs, trying to get that, and it's a perfectly feasible strategy there for the drivers to take, but James and Knack there setting great pace on their hard tyres, making it difficult for Reaper to be able to make it past on the softs, and he should be able to. He's got 8 seconds here behind Domestos, who is 2 seconds behind Lola. 10 laps here to go. I think Reaper should be able to maybe get it back up into third here. I think he's going to have to be obviously running a second lap quicker than Domestos and Lola to do so. But they are on the hard and medium. He has got the soft tyre. The track is going to be really rubbing in right now, so I think he should maybe get back up into third. But I think Knack and James, it's going to be a close battle with these two at the end there. Knack, James defending the inside into these corners. Knack slips in behind James, maybe running a little bit wide there on this turn in for the next one, forcing Knack a little bit wider there. See James getting a better entry to the chicane there. Knack, James will see with a slight tyre advantage there, about 6 laps or so. Right now it's a few more laps, and I think Knack will start to notice the tyre wear. Once we get up to the last few laps, once we start getting around to lap 33 or so, lap 32, lap 33, Knack will start to notice his tyre wear. James, I think, will be able to put a bit more distance in the last few laps from having those slightly fresher tyres. Knack needs to get past him right now. Is he going to get into him before turn 1? James remains on the outside. Didn't try and protect the inside there. He almost let Knack take that position through there. I don't think he thought Knack was close enough to be able to get him with the DRS, and he stuck to his line on the outside, and then before he knew it there, Knack was alongside him. Knack with the lead right now. He has slightly over time, so as we say, it's James is going to have to put on the pressure. How is Reaper doing here? Currently 2 seconds off of Domestos. We can just see Domestos there up in front of us. Him and Lola aren't going to be wanting to release those positions back to Reaper, even though he's on that soft tyre. Kuhn, bring a very good point there in the chat about penalties. Yes, thank you. I've been too excited about the driving and the battles on track here, Kuhn. Oh, that is a very good point, my friend. Reaper there on 12 seconds of penalties. He's going to be, that's going to be upsetting for Reaper. He definitely needs to make it as far forward as he possibly can. As we mentioned, being about 2 seconds behind Domestos at the end of Sector 1 through Sector 2. He has just closed that gap down to 0.2 from 2 seconds. That was a beautiful run through sector 2, Reaper, while I was talking about penalties with Kuhn in the chat. Domestos going to the inside. Reaper's pass, slips in, back behind. Best thing with Domestos right now is probably let Reaper go past and so Domestos can then start getting the DRS from Reaper, and he can use Reaper right now to help him try and catch back up to Lolla and be able to get back into a battle there with Lolla for potentially that other 4th position spot. And as we said, with the tyres there, Lolla's going to start to fade away soon. Those 15 lap mediums and Domestos should be better. So if he can use Reaper right now, Reaper already putting such a distance though between the two. That's unfortunate. Hasn't got the grip on those hard tyres to stay with him to remain with that DRS. As we see Lang on the side of the track there. Strange position there. Not sure what he was doing at the side of the track there. That was going towards turn 12. Unsure. Maybe had a funny line out of the chicane or something, and had a funny spin. Unsure. Yeah, Domestos losing it almost 3 seconds behind Reaper now. Reaper massively catching up with Lolla. 8 tenths behind him. He's going to have the DRS on the next corner here. You can see he's got so much more traction here through these corners. Lolla's staying to the outside. Reaper comfortably past before coming in to turn 4 there. James out now on 12 seconds of penalties, but Reaper's got 17 seconds of distance there between them. I don't know if he's going to be able to make up that time. Knack with the less penalties right now and staying in front. That can even afford over these last few laps for James to get in front of him, but he just needs to stay within 3 seconds. Oh, there's that wing cam again. I'm sorry, we could have like a top-down cam between the two drivers right now, but this wing cam is really nice and I rarely get to see it, and it's gone. It's gone, but that was nice. Why can't we get it for the corners? Why would the game not give me wing cam in the corners? So we're going to James is in front. You've got 5 laps now, Knack. You need to just stay with him. Stay within those 3 seconds of him, and you'll be fine. You'll be able to take the win. Reaper closing that time now by 2 seconds. I don't think 2 seconds up isn't enough though. He's got 5 more laps to do there. He needs to try and close that by about 4 seconds a lap right now to then give himself a lap at the end to try and get in front of one of these drivers. Very good effort. Knack there picking up a penalty though. He's now on 12 seconds of penalty, so he now needs to get back in front of Reaper through that. Not Reaper, he needs to get back in front of James after going through that chicane. James is gonna get the DRS off YorkshireRock there, who's currently running in 11th. Let's get the back cam from Yorkshire right now actually and watch James and Knack. Come up here, Knack. Wait for the next lap, Knack. If as long as James hasn't got any of that DRS from the back runners, you'll be in a better position when it comes there. It's a very... I've just seen what's happening in the penalty time. 38 seconds there. LordyLord, 38. How do we get 38 seconds of penalties? I thought it just black flagged to erase it about 30 seconds of penalties. How have we got 38? I don't think I've ever seen more penalties than that in a race. I give you congratulations for probably having the most amount of penalties in one race we've ever seen in the AV League, but that's not a trophy you should be proud of though, my friend. Unfortunately, Mexico is a hard track though, so that chicane is very difficult, but I've never seen any driver with that many penalties before. So thank you for that, and we'll join back with our front runners now for a second. Nak try as hard as you can. No ERS left there. James, basically no ERS left either. Running on empty. You don't want to drain that ERS out, Nak. You know that best of everyone. Both of them locking up there, trying to break as late as they can into the corner. Nak nearly touching the back of James. Don't know why I get Nak and Lang confused. They were both in the Williams last season, maybe. That's the only reason. Reaper is slowly closing that time down, but he's picking up more penalties in the process now on 15 seconds. Wouter and Jasper here. Wouter getting up past Jasper. Pardon me. God, yeah. Great driving from our front drivers. Now it's going to get a DRS again though. It's coming across the line, like we said, about like 7 tenths behind. It's not close enough to be able to really make that DRS work. You need to be coming through there at around that 4 or 5 tenth mark so you can really get up close next to that driver. Anything kind of behind that, especially behind that kind of 7 tenth line, anything behind that 7 tenth line, you're going to really have to push on your ERS. On that driver in front is going to be able to comfortably just run normally without pushing on the ERS and still be able to defend from you along that straight. And Nak bumped James on that corner. He has receded the position. He decided he was absolutely in the wrong there. He was enjoying his battle following James. That was a very sportsman-like thing to do there, Nak. I applaud you for that. And we will resume the race between the two of them. And I think James will also very much appreciate that act of sportsmanship there from Nak. That's what we like. That's the sort of racing we like to see. People understanding that maybe they made the mistake there. They're the reason why they would have been able to get in front of the other driver. So to recede and hand the position back, very sportsmanlike. That's what we like to see. He's got the DRS again now, and he's got no ERS to push with it. James burning all his ERS out there to defend with it now as well. Just going to slip back here. The Ferrari's trying to put the pressure on Wouter here. Jasper doing very well on the Ferrari. We've seen him a bit before in previous races. Pretty competent driver here. Just keep staying with Wouter. It's Wouter being on the soft tyre though. I don't think Jasper's going to be able to make a move on him there. And I think his last couple of laps. Reaper there, closing the gap down now to 9 seconds to these leaders. He's comfortably been able to run just over a second a lap quicker there from when he pitted, but it's not enough to be able to close down on James and Nak. James here, I think, just making the right choice on when to switch over to his hards and being able to remain with that tyre advantage now. See, this is what Nak's really going to be feeling it now in these last few laps. James is just under that 20 lap kind of point. Nak's over the top of it. Both of them now, no ERS, basically about 10% on each of them, and don't think Nak's going to really have that grip out of these corners at the end here. I think James might just have still a little bit give in his tyres. Don't know. Nak's wing doesn't look like he took any damage from that bump with James either, so that's also very good for Nak on his last laps. But as we said, all three of those top drivers are now up on 15 seconds of penalties. James and Nak and Reaper. Oh god, pardon me. A lot of drivers, no driver clear of penalties here in the race. As we said, Lordy Lord, with the most I've ever seen, I think, on the F1 2020 game with 38 seconds. I commend you from getting that many penalties, but maybe practice Mexico a little bit. And there we go. James R brings it back into first. Knack brings it back in second. Reaper's going to be in third. He's not enough to work out his penalties from Lola. Lola and Domestos are going to switch places on the grid line because no, Domestos has more penalties than Lola. I was looking at that wrong. They're not going to swap places. I think he just picked up that other penalty at the end there. Lola's on fourth. Domestos in fifth. FCST is going to finish in sixth. As we've got Chronic, Wouter and Jasper here all within 15 seconds of penalties. They're all going to retain their positions of 7th, 8th and 9th. Well, hbecht moving up in front of Wouter there on the last corner. We missed that because of the camera angles. Legitimate overtake through 14 and 15 there from Jasper. Well done. Bestos there will still be in 10th. He's got less penalties, but he's not close enough to Wouter to make the difference work there. The other drivers at Marks is already having finished. I didn't get to see them come across the line after 10th. That was strange. But there we go. Driver of the day. Xz, that's what the game's voted. We'll see what our own drivers vote as driver of the day for the next race. As load back in to give you the full grid order of our day in Mexico City. I am, so there's our podium today. James, Knack and Reaper. That was a great race from all three of them, all on different tyre advantages today. Lola and Domestos in 4th and 5th. They both put on a great race today. Really pushed hard. Domestos pushing hard on that leader, on the leaders earlier on as well. Just fading away a bit further towards the back there. I think he should have pitted earlier. FCST in 6th, Chronic in 7th, Jasper in 8th, Wouter in 9th, Bestos 10th, Xz 11th, Yorkshire 12th, Lucas 13th, LordyLord 14th, Lang 15th, Rowan 16th, Noah 17th, Tenta 18th, Elkir 19th, and WaR-Skorpa just behind that. I missed it because time ran out. And I also think this is the first time this season that Lang's been beaten by his teammate. Luca finished in front of him, and I don't think Luca ever has for the previous half of the season. So well done, Luca, for beating your teammate. That's the end of Mexico. We're going to be back on Thursday with AV Racing TV when we come to what is the next race after Mexico. Oh, Monaco. We're off to Monaco on Thursday. That's going to be fun. We managed to avoid a safety car today. We managed to avoid a safety car in the AV versus Weekend Warriors race. I don't know if we're going to be so lucky in Monaco. That's it for today. We'll see you on Thursday. Goodbye from AV TV.